Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today because we are diving into some truly groundbreaking stuff. We're going to look at how artificial intelligence is moving way past all the buzzwords and stepping directly into your actual healthcare journey. We'll see how these algorithms are being used in real-world medicine right now, changing the game on everything from how hospitals manage patient oxygen to how you use your smartphone in the morning.
But before we jump in, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a sleep study? Mentally raise your hand if you've ever been tested for apnea, maybe you've thought about getting one, or perhaps you just cross your fingers and hope for the best every night. Sleep is something we all do, yet it's incredibly complex. If you've ever been hooked up to all those wires in a sleep lab, you know exactly how much data your body is pumping out while you rest. Keep that in mind because that is exactly where our journey begins today.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, hidden data in sleep studies. Second, AI on a hospital floor. Third, should AI get a license? And finally, the selfie data problem.
All right, let's jump straight into number one, hidden data in sleep studies.
There is a massive contrast in how medical data is used today. Traditionally, when a doctor uses a sleep study to diagnose apnea, they look at your breathing pauses, they track your oxygen dips, and they kind of have to shrink a whole night's worth of really complex biological data down into one single standardized number. It's like summarizing a whole novel into one sentence. But recently, researchers from the Cleveland Clinic and IBM used an AI foundation model to completely expand that view. Instead of boiling things down, this AI analyzed the full, raw biological signals. We're talking brain waves, heart rhythms, breathing, from nearly 10,000 sleep studies. And based on all that rich data, it sorted patients into 5 distinct risk groups. And get this. This is wild. The AI found that the highest risk group it identified had about twice the 5-year death risk of the lowest risk group. 2 times. This is a completely critical detail that the standard sleep apnea score totally missed. Your body is already giving off these signals during a routine test, but human doctors literally just don't have the capacity to process millions of raw data points in a single night. The AI, however, does. Now, hold on. This doesn't mean your sleep study is a magic crystal ball that perfectly predicts your future. Actually, it's more like the AI can flag subtle risk patterns that are absolutely worth a closer look from a human physician. But, and scientists are very transparent about this, the next massive hurdle is proving that flagging these risks actually improves your medical care, rather than just making really smart predictions. Moving right along to our second stop, AI on the hospital floor. So, picture a recent trial across 4 U.S. hospitals involving about 300 adults on supplemental oxygen. Typically, clinicians have to walk in and adjust a patient's oxygen flow by hand, right? And that keeps patients in their safe target oxygen range about 63% of the time. But when they used an automated AI-managed system to monitor and adjust those levels in real time, that safe zone time shot up to a massive 85%. That means way less time dipping into dangerously low or high oxygen levels just by letting the system take the wheel. And oxygen control is really just one piece of the puzzle. A regional health system also recently rolled out a machine learning early warning system across 11 different hospitals. This tool essentially sits in the background and silently watches for those super quiet early signs that a patient is deteriorating. When it spots trouble, it doesn't wait around for a nurse to check a chart. It automatically alerts the rapid response teams. And this wasn't just a small test run. This was analyzed over 23,000 high-risk hospital admissions. Here is why this is an absolute game changer for anyone working in healthcare. It's all about balance. By catching these tiny, subtle declines early, the AI warning system was actually linked to fewer hospital deaths. But honestly, just as importantly, it did this without burying the medical staff in unnecessary alarms. It intervened exactly when it needed to. Which brings us to topic number 3. Should AI get a license? Okay, so there's this fascinating viewpoint published recently in JAMA Internal Medicine, and it basically argued, as AI tools start doing work that looks like practicing medicine, making recommendations, renewing prescriptions, regulators might eventually need to license them the way they license human clinicians. I mean, think about that for a second. If an algorithm is turning the dial under oxygen or calling a rapid response team to your bedside, it's essentially practicing medicine. This brilliantly illustrates how the whole medical debate is shifting right beneath our feet. For the last few years, the only question we really asked was, well, does this technology work? But as we just saw with the sleep data and the hospital oxygen, yeah, it clearly works. So now we're facing a much tougher question. Who is legally accountable when AI does the work? If the AI adjusts your oxygen incorrectly, who's responsible?
The software developer? The hospital? The doctor who wasn't in the room? Treating AI like a licensed human doctor sounds radical, but it's exactly the kind of puzzle regulators are grappling with right now. Finally, let's wrap up with number 4, the selfie data problem. We are talking about consumer skin profiling. This is the incredibly widespread use of smartphone apps to track skin changes, aging, acne, redness, all using selfies you take right in your living room. Millions of us are using our smartphones as literal health scanners. It's super convenient. But a new study in Scientific Reports just pointed out a pretty major flaw in how we use these everyday apps. Despite all that fancy algorithm magic running in the background, something as simple as a smile can fundamentally throw off the app's accuracy. No way, right? But the study found that smiling literally distorts how your skin features look to the computer vision system. The way you take the photo directly affects what the AI thinks it sees. At the end of the day, a health scan is only as good as the image you put into it.
So, what's the practical takeaway for you here? Well, if you use any of these wellness or skin apps, you kind of got to standardize your own data. Treat your bathroom mirror like a mini clinic. Follow these strict steps every single time you take a medical selfie. Number 1, use the exact same lighting. Number 2, use the exact same angle. Number 3, keep a completely relaxed face, no smiling. And number 4, absolutely never use a filter. If you don't do this, you are feeding the AI garbage and you will get garbage advice right back.
And that brings us perfectly to our final thought. Think about what it really takes to move healthcare forward. Yes, researchers are building incredible models that read brainwaves and systems that manage hospital oxygen. But progress isn't just about waiting around for algorithms to become flawless. Sometimes it relies on our everyday habits. So I'll leave you with this. As you look to the future of healthcare, are we just waiting for artificial intelligence to save us? Or do we need to step up and take active responsibility for the data we feed it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the data, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.